Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. I apologize, it's getting dark, so the video might get grainy here, but I'm going to obviously get you daytime shots as well. But I have a new mod for the WRX, and I'm super excited about it because it is a carbon fiber steering wheel. You guys keep suggesting to get a carbon fiber steering wheel, and I finally did it. So it's got the Alcantara suede side inserts, and then the top and bottom are carbon fiber. There's no red line in the middle or anything like that. This was actually my ideal situation. This was one that I would have ordered myself if I had the money. But I know before you ask, I can't tell you what brand it is because I don't even know. This was actually a prototype carbon fiber steering wheel that we got a while ago at the shop. It's been sitting around collecting dust for a little over 2 years now, and I was like, hey, can I have that? And they were like, yeah, go ahead. So I so I can't complain. So I'm outside now. I'm uninstalling my stock one, and I'm going to install this one. All right, so I've disconnected the battery. There are 3 clips basically that hold the airbag in, and it's very hard to show them on camera in any sort of way. But these little like spring clips right here, there's one here, and one on the bottom. There's little holes in the steering wheel that you can reach up and see those, but it's very hard. I had trouble seeing them myself, let alone to show you guys on camera. But here we go. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the ground here and disconnect both of the airbag connectors, and then disconnect the harness here from the clock spring. So now I have everything disconnected. This was actually the first time I've ever seen this on one of these connectors. The ground strap here had like a little pin right there that you have to push down on to actually get it to release, which is pretty cool. And then obviously a standard plug that would go into the clock spring right there. Then we have both the airbag connectors that have these little yellow tabs that you pop up on, and then when you pull up on them, they'll disconnect. So now I just have to go ahead and remove the 17mm bolt from the center. So I loosened up the nut and then yanked on the steering wheel. I literally had to like full force smack it on the top and bottom, kind of rock it, and then it broke loose. So now it is free. And so now I can go ahead and take off this 17mm nut. And so what I'm going to do now, I have this thing oriented as perfectly straight as I can get it, so that I know that the new wheel will go on perfectly straight. So this thing is literally, actually got to turn the wheel just a little bit. Right there, it's perfectly straight. So that's how I need to put it back on. And I'm going to put you guys down because I have to, when I pull the wheel off, I got to make sure that I don't screw up the clock spring behind the wheel. So I want to make sure these wires don't get caught. So I'm going to put you down and I'm going to pull the wheel off. Man, cars sure do look funny without steering wheels. All right, now I'm not entirely sure what the next step is. I know I'm going to have to transfer everything over to the new wheel. So that includes the springs. There's little springs that I was showing you, all the wiring, all this stuff. So I see a clip in the back that holds this connector in. I see a Phillips head screw, but that's really all I see that's holding this thing together. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna disconnect these cables from the wheel. Like I said, the only screw I'm seeing is a Phillips head right here. That's the only visible screw right now, so I'm hoping that did it. Okay, that's good, that's all I needed. Okay, now I'm seeing screws for the controls. And for the cover, I think that's already on the way out. Okay, now this should just pull out. Okay, there's that. I'm gonna need to reuse these pins. Okay, that looks pretty straightforward, which may be a little tricky. I don't know how much tension these have. Oh. So I'm gonna immediately put it back in so I don't forget where it goes. That's pretty simple. Move that pin over here, plug that in. Yeah, so it's really weird to see these when you're taking the wheel off. I don't know why. It's super hard to see. Oh, geez, that went flying. It's super hard to see these when you are working on taking the wheel out, which is why I couldn't really show you guys. It's really hard to explain, but you have these little peepholes. Actually, I can show you right here. We'll put this back on and simulate this. So you'll see this hole right there, and you see where the pin is. Right there is where you pry on the pin. And then you have to try and find that with this cover on. And it's very difficult to do. I struggled. That's probably what took the longest, was just finding those finding those pins and taking them out properly. But anyways, we got that done now, so we can go ahead and start putting our electronics back in. Those actually slide in there very nice. Put the bottom clip on. Careful not to get too tight because I don't want to strip out the plastic. Okay. Alright, we have our plastic back on, we have all of our buttons back on, and we can put this thing back in the car. Alright, so I got the wheel back in. Tighten up this nut. We'll plug everything back in, which shouldn't be bad at all. And we'll be back in business. So this plug will go back in here. This will plug back onto the ground of the airbag. These will plug back into the airbag. Alright, so I have everything plugged back in. You can see the ground, you can see those connectors are back in. And now you can see these little pop clips that go through those springs. I'm going to just put this right back how it was and push in like I'm hitting the horn. And you heard all three of those clip in. Now the airbag is back in place and we're good to go. Here is the carbon wheel. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the negative terminal back on the battery, and then I'll get you guys a better shot of this in the morning. Of course, I'm at the worst possible angle right now where the sun's hitting half the wheel, not the other half. But anyways, you get the idea. Go ahead and close the door. That didn't really help, but anyways, you know what they look like. It's in now. It looks great. It feels great. There's actually a much different contour on the wheel here where you're grabbing it. There's actually some little divots on the back of this so that when you're turning you don't accidentally slip, because this is just a solid glossy piece of carbon. And then down here at the bottom there's actually a couple indents for your fingers as well. So I really like that about it. Definitely glad that I got this. This thing is super cool. Added some more carbon to the inside of the car. As you guys know, I have a little bit of carbon in the dash inserts and the shifter insert, but it's always nice to have more. Well guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I appreciate you checking it out. Hopefully, we'll have another video coming out very soon. And until next time.